right, let's go ahead and kick things off. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into today's webinar. We are so excited to be joined by Laser App. Today, we are going to be covering a webinar that I think a lot of people are wondering about, especially, if you're in growth mode, you're opening new accounts. How do we make that process easier? How do we have a better client experience? How do we have a better experience internally on the advisor side? So really excited to bring to you Wealthbox and Laser Apps powered by iPipeline and how those two technologies work together to make account opening a lot easier for you. Today we have two presenters. First of all, my name is Jenna Gabati. I'm a senior product specialist with Wealthbox. I've been with Wealthbox for the last about 3.5 years, it's crazy. It went by really quickly. Prior to being on the financial technology side, I actually worked as a financial advisor. And really, so I understand the day-to-day of what advisors go through. And really, I just love working with advisors and helping them streamline their technology and make sure that their processes are as seamless as possible and that they can spend more time doing what they do best and generating revenue and generating value for their clients. We are also joined by Kathy Fajardo on the iPipeline side. So Kathy, I'll give you a second to introduce yourself.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kathy Fajardo. I'm one of the sales director here at iPipeline. I've actually been at Laser App for about 17 years. So 10 of those years were Laser App, and then we were acquired by iPipeline in 2017. So still in sales. And then, of course, today I work with about 100 plus different broker dealers. I work with the large man jammer and also to the one man jammer. So the 1,000-man broker dealers down to the one-man broker dealers. And also work with a lot of the fund companies. I work with a lot of the securities, annuities, mutual fund companies, alternative investment companies as well. And I'm excited to definitely be here and show you how the Wealthbox and Laser App integration looks like.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, we're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Just to go over a quick agenda items, a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, we're going to be doing company overview of Wealthbox and Laser App. We'll go through a demo of each, mostly focused on the Laser App side so you can see what that product looks like, and then talk about the integration and where those two technologies overlap. We'll also carve out some time at the end for Q&A. So if you do have any questions that pop up throughout the presentation, use your Zoom controls at the bottom. You can type your question into the Q&A and we'll make sure to address it towards the end. One other housekeeping item is that this is a recorded presentation, so it will be available for you both on our website. We will also be sending it out to anybody that registered for today's webinar. So even if you're not able to attend the full presentation, or if you'd like to share this with colleagues after the fact that weren't able to attend today, you will have access to do that. So feel free to share. All right, and with that, we'll get started on the Wealthbox side. So first and foremost, this is what you see when you log into Wealthbox. This is your home page. And to give you the lay of the land here, we're logged in under ABC Financial, so that firm is white labeled to you. And then under the advisor profile, Brad Creedon. On the left-hand side is your main navigation panel where you can click through the different components of Wealthbox. We have recently viewed pages, so you can navigate back to anything that you had previously clicked through. On the right-hand side are any upcoming events that filters in directly from your calendar. So we do have a direct two-way sync, both with Google Calendar as well as Outlook Calendar. You have your tasks or your tasks and workflow steps that are either overdue, they're due today, or they're upcoming. Any special dates, so things like client birthdays and anniversaries will populate here, and opportunities that have a target close date within whatever parameter you set. So here we have it set for what's set to close in the next 30 days. So this right-hand side will give you a very clear picture of what your day-to-day looks like, show you what requires your time and attention, and that follows you throughout the system. So no matter what screen you're on, you'll be able to see that activity that's due for you. In the middle column here, we have the publisher as well as the activity stream. And from the publisher, you're able to add new notes, create new contacts, you can add new tasks, new events, and new opportunities directly into your CRM system without having to click through multiple screens to get there. So you're able to operate that directly from your homepage. So as an example, let's say we had a conversation with our client and we spoke with her about her 401k plan. So we want to leave a note on her contact record that conversation took place. We'll click into the note, we'll say we spoke to, and this is where you can @mention your client. So by typing the @ symbol and starting to type out your client's information, you'll see a drop-down menu appear. We'll click on the client that this is relevant to. We'll say we spoke about her 401k plan, keep it super simple just for today's demo. And once you click post, that note will then cascade down into the activity stream. So you can see a note related to Delilah was added by you, the advisor, Brad Creedon. There's a timestamp of when that took place, which eventually locks into a specific calendar date and time for compliance purposes. And by mentioning that client, so by typing @Delilah Jones, that note now exists on Delilah's individual contact record, as well as the Jones household record that she's affiliated with. So it makes householding extremely easy. It makes the flow of information seamless so that you don't have to, duplicate those efforts in multiple places. And that note now exists in each place that it needs to within your CRM system with just 2 clicks, clicking into the note and clicking post. If you click on Delilah's name, you'll see a slide out view of her information appear for easy access. But let's take a look at what her individual contact record looks like. So at the top, you have her name, where she works, the fact that she's the head of household in the Jones family. You can see any tags associated with this client, phone numbers and email addresses. We do have a click to call feature directly in Wealthbox, as well as the ability to operate your email system inside of Wealthbox. So it makes it really easy for you to live mostly in one place throughout your day to day. On the right-hand side is any upcoming activity that's specific to this client. So any tasks due for them, any upcoming meetings that you have with them, opportunities for new business, any special dates to be aware of. We also have contact details, which are exactly what they sound like. That's going to be where most of your client information lives. And these are all going to be fields that are built into Wealthbox directly. But if there's anything that you like to keep tabs on that's maybe not a standard field, you're able to create that as a custom field, which is fully customizable as a drop-down menu, a date, a checkbox, really any way that you would need to see and store that data. You can also run reports off of any data within Wealthbox, whether it's something that is an inherent field or something that you've custom created. Also want to point out this send to function. So when you're looking at your client contact record, under the contact details, you'll see send to. And this is where you're able to push details directly into Laser App Anywhere or Laser App Enterprise, depending on what you're doing, in order to start to fill out those forms and open new business. So that's where you'd find the integration once you are fully integrated. But I will now hand it off to Kathy to go through that in a little bit more detail.
All right, so let me go ahead and just share my screen here really quick. Perfect. Okay, so little information about Laser App. Laser App was actually acquired back in 2017. We've been in business for over 20 plus years. Laser App's primary focus was really in the wealth space. And when iPipeline acquired us, iPipeline's focus was insurance and annuity space. So really it was a perfect match. By joining iPipeline acquiring Laser App, we were able to expand our business. We were able to expand our reach with our customers. And next slide. Let's see here. Perfect. A little information on iPipeline. So iPipeline was founded in 1995. We have about 925 employees, really based out of everywhere in the United States. Our main headquarters is in Exton, Pennsylvania. One of the areas of expertise for iPipeline is really in the life insurance, annuities, and wealth management space. Today, we work with about 100 plus different carriers, about 2,500 plus different broker dealers, PGAs, IMOs, and financial institutions. And really, we work with about 500,000 agents and licensed advisors as well. Next slide. So information on Laser App. Laser App has the largest repository of applications in the financial industry today. Today, we have about 70 plus different integrations with CRMs, account opening systems, e-signature vendors. And today we also have about 33,000 forms in the Laser App library. That really ranges from annuities, securities, mutual funds, alternative investments, all the major custodians like Schwab, Fidelity, all the major clearing firms like NFS, Pershing, StoneX. So we do work with a large number of companies. Every company that we do work with, we do have a contractual agreement with, meaning that we'll always have the most current and up-to-date version of the application. So reps really don't have to go to multiple different websites to review their forms or double check if they're up to date. They'll be able to go directly to Laser App to really pre-fill their forms and really have their forms kept up to date. Now, If you do have time, after this call, I would always suggest checking out our website. We do have all of our information of all of the forms that we currently have. That's actually on our laserwrap.com website. It does list a list of all the forms that we have. We don't have our broker-dealer forms on there, but if you also want to add your broker-dealer forms or your RA forms, you could also have those pre-filled in LaserWrap as well. Now, a little bit about LaserWrap as well is like we do, it is designed to pre-fill about 80% of the forms from your CRM. It helps reduce that in good order, and really it decreases the time that it takes to hand fill a form. So if you are having to fill out multiple forms for your company, your broker-dealer forms, your RA forms, that could easily take you 30 minutes to an hour with LaserWrap with a click of a button using the data from Wealthbox. That could really just take you a span of really minutes to fill out your form. Next slide. The way that LaserWrap works with Wealthbox is really easy. As Jenna showed you, you are going to go ahead and log into Wealthbox. You're going to go ahead and choose a client from your CRM, like a John Doe. There is going to be a button, and I'll go ahead and show you just a second. You're going to go ahead and click that button that launches LaserWrap. And inside LaserWrap, you are going to go ahead and say, I need a new account form. I may need a Schwab form. I may need my proprietary broker-dealer and RA form. And then you're in LaserWrap, you'll be able to pre-fill additional information. There's going to be buttons in there to pull in additional information from your Wealthbox. And then once the form is completed, you'll be able to go ahead and e-sign those forms using your e-signature vendor. We do have integrations with the top e-signature vendors in the financial space today. So you could e-sign those forms. You could also have those forms wet signed, and you could also just save them as a work in progress or as a PDF. All right, let me go ahead and do this. I will go ahead and just share my screen, and we'll go through a demo of LaserWrap. All right, so perfect. Jenna, can you see my screen?
I think we're still seeing mine.
No? Make sure. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Oh, I think we can now. Yeah.
Which screen are you seeing?
I see announcement from USR. Welcome to the Wealthbox and LaserWrap demo.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Just wanted to make sure. All right, so when you log into Wealthbox, this is what Wealthbox looks like as a CRM. You'll go ahead and pull up your client, which is John Doe. On the right-hand corner here, you will see a button that says Send to LaserWrap Anywhere. Once you click that button, you are going to end up on this page. This is the landing page for LaserWrap. The next step there is you're going to click on Search for Forms. We'll click on Business Channels. And in here, we can go ahead and just choose one of our forms. I'll go ahead and just choose a sample form. Imagine this being your proprietary broker-dealer form or your RA form or your new account form. We can also go ahead and choose additional forms. Go ahead and maybe choose a Schwab form. Hopefully some of you are familiar with Schwab's forms. Let's go ahead and just drop some forms into our queue. We'll open up these forms, and you can really go ahead and pull up as many forms as you need to continue to fill them out. Just add them into your queue. We'll go ahead and click on Open Forms. Oh no. Let me go ahead and log back in. I did this, do this. All right, perfect. I am so sorry about that. So we'll go ahead, launch from Wealthbox, choose your forms. We'll go ahead and just choose a couple forms here. We'll choose a sample form. We'll drop some additional forms into our queue. We'll go ahead and choose a Schwab form. Add those additional forms into our queue. We'll click on Open Forms. And then it's going to take the data from your CRM and pre-fill those forms. You'll notice we have all of John Doe's basic information: name, address, phone number, email address, social security, date of birth. We can go ahead and change the registration type from individual to joint, and you'll notice it'll fill in with Jane Doe's information. Now you can use these insert buttons that's built in throughout all of the forms. We'll go ahead and choose Jimmy Doe, for example. We'll choose corporate partnership. We'll choose the Rebecca Henderson. You could toggle through the next page here. You'll see the 4 pages at the top. Anything highlighted here, or grayed out. Page 4 is really a read-only or disclosure page. Anything you see here with the asterisk signs reminds you that there is some e-signature, which could be a signature or it could be initial, but you'll notice here it's already filled out with information. For John Doe, we could check anything that needs to be checked off. There's insert buttons that you could drop in additional information like their driver's license or their green card, banking information, beneficiaries. So you could really see here how much time LaserApp saves in filling out forms. Especially with a form like this, you could easily be copying and pasting from other places to pre-fill the information. But with this one, it's easy. It's coming from Wealthbox. You can go ahead and key in additional information if you need to, and you'll notice a DocuSign at the bottom right here for client initials. We could tab through the 3rd page, and you'll notice here the advisor's information, Aaliyah Smith, the broker-dealer's Wealthbox financial advisor. So all the basic information about the advisor is filled in, and you'll notice if you hover over this client's signature, that one is assigned to John Doe. He is the main client, Jane Doe, who is the joint, and then Aaliyah Smith, who is the rep of record. So what we can do here is we could tap through the other forms. So we have a Schwab form. We'll go ahead and really do the same thing. Check anything that needs to be checked off. You could use the insert buttons if you need to add information. You're really just going to go through the entire form and then just continue to complete the additional information as needed and check anything that needs to get checked off. Now, once the form is completed, we have all 3 forms open. What you can go ahead and do is you can go ahead and either print the form, save it as a PDF and have it wet signed, or you could also send this off for e-signature. We have a button here that says send to DocuSign. We do have a great integration with DocuSign. The only thing that you're really required to do for e-signing your forms in LaserApp is we just need your credentials, which is your login and password to DocuSign. We've already mapped out all the forms for e-signature, so there is really nothing that you have to do. All you're going to do is click on Send to DocuSign. And one of the things that you'll notice here, it's validation failure. And really what that means is LaserApp is going to go through all the fields of your form, and it's going to tell you and remind you which area of your form has missing information. So you'll notice here that it's missing BD confirmation. It is also reminding me that I didn't check things off. Male right here, marital status, will put married, but it is really showing me and reminding me that I am missing information that really does help reduce the NIGOs. A lot of advisors love that feature. It really does remind them if they're in a hurry or if they're really missing information from their CRM that doesn't get pulled in over to the applications. So we'll go ahead and just click send to DocuSign here. And just for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and skip all. And then here you'll see you'll put in an email subject. You could put please sign, email body. This could either be pre-templatized where information's already put in to the body of the email. You could also force the routing order of the recipient list here. You could add additional supplemental PDFs if you need to that's sitting on your desktop. And then once you've done that, all you have to do is click OK, and then it is sent off for DocuSign for e-signature, and there is nothing that you have to do. Now, the good thing is that once the form is completed, you could always log back into your DocuSign account, and then you'll really see exactly where those forms are at. There is a section here for DocuSign. You'll be able to really see exactly where your forms are at. The status, this is only really a records dashboard, but at least that way you could see if your form's been completed, who's the next signer of the form as well. Now, one of the things I do want to show you here is the current contact information. Now, I know that we explained how Wealthbox has information that's going to get pre-filled in from the data from the CRM, but LaserApp also pre-fills in additional information about yourself as the advisor, so name, address, contact information that's typically being filled into an application. Additional data as well that's getting filled in is firm data. So here we have Wealthbox financial advisors. That could be your broker dealer or RA information, your address. So a ton of information is getting filled in. I mean, our goal is really to fill in about 80% of the applications. Now, this is the data that's getting pre-filled in from the CRM: name, address, phone number, email address, social security, date of birth, driver's license, spouse information, beneficiaries, corporate trust info, banking and finances. So it's a lot of information that's really getting pulled in from the CRM. Now, another thing that LaserApp can also do is that we can group your forms together. So, one of the features that a lot of advisors love is the fact that we can pre make packets of applications together. So, for example, when you are filling out forms, you may not only be filling out a new account form, you may be filling out a distribution request form, a closure form, just kind of throwing things out from what I have here on screen. What you can go ahead and do is you can go ahead and group your forms together so that when you go back into LaserApp, your forms are already pre-made. I've already created some pre-made groups of forms here. You'll see I have an American Funds account packet, a new account form. We could drop that into my queue and we can go ahead and open it right away. This way, we won't forget that, a specific form needs to be with another form. Just kind of really things make things really super easy for you. Okay, and I think that is about it. Then I'll go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was incredible. I mean, I haven't been an advisor in a number of years, and I still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about NIGOs and having to get client initials and all that. So this is incredible. I can see why there's true value there. Yeah, let me send it over to Q&A. Just want to put up our information for anybody that can't stick around. We do have a couple questions that came through, so we'll go through those. But if you do have any follow-up questions or you want to get a more in-depth demo, talk about some specific use cases for your firm, on the Wealthbox side, it's just sales@wealthbox.com. You can also scan the QR code with your phone to schedule a one-on-one demo. Same on the iPipeline side, it's kfajardo@ipipeline.com, and feel free to schedule a demo by scanning the QR code. So I'll leave this up as we go through questions, but Kathy, if you have any things that you need to share your screen for to answer a question, feel free to take it over.
No problem.
Okay, so the first question, a couple of these I think were answered throughout the presentation, but I think they're worth reiterating. So are forms grouped by account registration, or do we have to choose the forms individually? So for example, if someone's opening a traditional IRA, will Laser app group those forms necessary for that account type, or will they need to know individually what forms to select?
They are going to need to know individually what forms to select. So one of the things with LaserApp is that an advisor can pre-group their forms for themselves, but also the back office of your broker dealer or your RIA, whose ever account it is, can actually have those forms pre-made for you as well. So
Got it.
two ways to really group your forms together.
True. But you're able to set that up yourself when you're, starting to use Laser App so that it's grouped together for you going forward.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, that makes it easy.
Mhm.
Another question. When submitting a form via DocuSign with Schwab, they require us to have them copied on the envelope in order for it to automatically submit to them once signed by all individuals. Is this something that is available with iPipeline?
So what we do with Schwab is we have what we call a ride along. And really what that means is that we have a Schwab CC functionality inside LaserApp where we would CC Schwab on those forms. So when you fill out a form in LaserApp, and let's just say you have a Schwab form, maybe your broker dealer form, when you submit it through LaserApp with the ride along, and we'll work with you. We have a great support team that will help configure your copy of LaserApp. How that would work is that you obviously fill out your forms. Once the form is completed, you're going to go ahead and send it to Schwab. Schwab is actually only going to receive the Schwab forms, and then everything else will, get sent back over to you via DocuSign. The one thing that Schwab does require is that you get approval from Schwab, um, to use your own DocuSign. But I mean, we have a great integration where and a lot of reps who actually use LaserApp to fill out forms for Schwab and get it sent over to Schwab.
Yeah, certainly not your first rodeo dealing with custodians that require certain things. So,
Yes.
yeah. If you save a group of forms and the carrier updates the form, will it also update in your saved groups?
It will update in your saved groups. And if the form, for example, disappears, we will also let you know that the form that specific group is what we call defunct because there is a missing form in there. But
Got
we
it.
will update a form in the specific group that you created.
Yeah, that's nice. So it's a one-time setup. You don't have to tinker with it. You just have to,
Exactly.
yeah, use it going forward. Can you expand on the differences between Laser App Anytime and Laser App Enterprise?
Sure. So, I mean, it's actually really easy. Laser App Anywhere is actually our web-based model. You could use on an iPad, tablet, cell phone, really anywhere that you have a browser. Laser App Enterprise is our flagship product. It is a desktop solution. It works great. The only thing is it is desktop, so you physically have to download Laser App on every workstation that you need it for.
Got it. Somebody asked about getting the recording for this meeting. Just to reiterate, for anyone that might have missed the announcements on the front end, we will be sending out the recording of this to everybody that registered, whether or not you were able to attend. And it will also live on our website in perpetuity. So feel free to share that link with any colleagues. But yes, you will absolutely get a copy of this recording. Another question came in. Could we upload our own forms that are not already in the iPipeline system?
Yes, you can. We have what we call our content partner forms, and we also have custom forms. Typically, when you have your own proprietary forms, we'll give you a link to our website. You'll go ahead and upload those forms, and then we'll have those forms mapped out just like you see all the other forms. We'll map them out for e-signature, smart configuration. So anytime any of the advisors forget a specific field, it'll automatically remind them as well. So,
Got it.
yep.
Yeah, similar question, but more of a specific use case. Matt said, we are a bank wealth management firm. Does Laser App have generic forms to use for all account types, or do we need to upload their own forms?
So I would say take a look at the list of forms that we currently have. I could always provide you a link to a list of all of the forms, but I would definitely recommend if you have your own proprietary forms to have your forms uploaded into Laser App. So those forms can be filled out as well.
Awesome. Yeah, Matt, that sounds like a good, if you have a question like that, that sounds like a good opportunity to book more of a one-on-one demo so they can go through that with you. So definitely recommend using the QR code. Is there a way to add identity verification for DocuSign?
Identity verification. That I would probably have to take back and get back to you.
Yeah, no
All we
problem.
typically require for using Laser App for DocuSign is really just their login and password to DocuSign. We'll add that into Laser App, and then of course it'll pre-fill with the reps or advisors information.
Also, might be a question for your compliance professional, whoever they may be. Let's see. If we need to upload our own forms, how do we use custom fields? Can you create contingent fields, and which platform creates wizard-based navigation of a form versus PDF versions with text boxes?
So we have what we call our common data model, which is 200 fields of Laser App. That's 200 fields of information for Laser App that gets pre-mapped. I mean, really all of our CRMs that we currently work with, like Wealthbox, every CRM really is getting pre-filled. It's getting mapped to our common data model. So what if you do upload your forms to Laser App, we will take those forms, we will map them out to our common data model. And then of course it's going to get filled in with the information from whatever CRM that it's coming from.
Got it. A couple questions about Schwab. So some Schwab forms still require a wet signature. Would iPipeline alert you of this for a specific form?
So inside Laser App today, you won't see that the form is enabled for e-signature. We have contractual agreements with the companies that we work with. If they allow for e-signature, you'll be able to see that directly on the form that there's a DocuSign section in there. But if not, you won't. You'd have to just go ahead and print out the form and have it wet signed.
Got it. Okay. Alicia asked, Schwab requires email and text for authentication. Would that not be required anymore?
For using Schwab, we would use your DocuSign, whatever credentials that you have for DocuSign, that's how it would work. So however you have it set up in your DocuSign, that's how it would work inside Laser App.
Got it. Okay. So it just adopts the specificity of what you already have set up.
Correct.
Got it. William asks, would the client need to have their own DocuSign account prior to being able to sign the documents?
Yes, you would. So if you want to use LaserWrap, you could still use LaserWrap without e-signature today. You would just obviously have to either print the form and save the form and have it wet signed. But to actually have the forms e-signed, you would need your own credentials. And you could, like I said, you could use DocuSign, SignX, eSign Live. I mean, we work with a number of e-signature vendors today that you could use to e-sign your forms.
Okay. And then Joanna said, sorry if this was already asked, but what is the difference between LaserWrap Anywhere and Enterprise? Just one more time.
Sure. One is desktop and then one's web-based.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
And then how is the client validated using DocuSign with Schwab forms?
How is a client validated using which? Repeat that question.
How is the client validated? I think it's a similar question about like identity verification or yeah, verification. How is the client validated using DocuSign with Schwab forms?
So when an advisor today is filling out their forms, right, in LaserWrap, they're filling out, I mean, it could be their assistant that's filling out the forms, but essentially, the information that they're pulling in, it's getting filled out. The way that it would work is obviously it's using the DocuSign credentials that's assigned to the advisor. And then of course it'll go through and route the DocuSign how they have it set up in DocuSign, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So just to kind of clarify, just to make sure. So LaserWrap, like the ability to form fill is not impacting how the document is delivered with the specifications you have for DocuSign setup. So the way you have DocuSign set up will not be impacted by LaserWrap filling those forms.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea, when it does come to Schwab, you do have to have Schwab approval in order to e-sign your forms in LaserWrap.
Got it. Okay. All right. I think that's all the questions that have come in. There are a lot of questions about specific use cases, which would probably be better answered in a one-on-one anyways, to be fair. So again, feel free to use any of the follow-up credentials that we have on the screen here if you'd like to speak more specifically about how your firm operates, the types of forms that you use, and what that would look like from a compliance or, identity verification perspective. But Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate the partnership. We're excited to be partnered with LaserWrap and excited for iterations to come with our integration.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining and hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Take care.